On November 12th, 1930, Sultan Muhammad Shah Aga Khan led a Muslim delegation. He led a Muslim delegation to the Roundtable Conference. Okay, to the Roundtable Conference. And this was a conference that was actually being chaired by Lord Sankey. Um, and let me spell conference right here. And there were a number of actual prominent individuals in that Muslim delegation. In particular, um, they included people like Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who was actually right here. So he was the person who ended up being the founder of Pakistan, and also Muhammad Shafi, Maulana Muhammad Ali, Dr. Shafat Ahmed, Sir Zarfullah, Nawab Chitari, and Fazl ul Haq, among others. And the conference actually took place in London. It took place at the St. James Hotel. And as I mentioned, it was chaired by Lord Sankey. And the purpose of the conference was to talk about the future of India. And this was a topic that was certainly very important to Sultan Muhammad Shah. Now, attendees of the conference included obviously the Muslim delegation, but in terms of the overall Indian delegation, there were about 57 attendees who were part of the Indian delegation. So 57 attendees who were part of the Indian delegation. And they actually represented most of India except they were not. There was actually no representative from Congress, but all the other Indian parties rather were represented, but not Congress. All right. Now, about a year later, in September of 1931, September 7 to be precise, there was a second conference. The second Roundtable Conference was held. Okay, and this time there was more representation from India, and that included members of Congress, but also some of the newcomers included people like Mahatma Gandhi, whose picture is right here, and he was obviously a very prominent figure in Indian history, but also others like Muhammad Iqbal, Dr. S.K. Datta, G.A. Birla, Pandit Madan, Mohan Malavia, Sir Ali Imam, and some others as well. And actually, the author, M. Abdul Aziz, wrote in his book, The Crescent in the Land of the Rising Sun, on page 146. I'm going to read that right here. And this is by M. Abdul Aziz. And he wrote that the Roundtable Conference in London have happily shown us the way how to deal with problems which appeared at first sight to be insoluble. And in this connection, I desire, and I am sure every Muslim in India desires with me, to pay a tribute to the great services which His Highness the Aga Khan has rendered during the deliberations of the Round Table Conference and the sessions of the Joint Parliamentary Committee to the cause of the Muslims in India. So clearly, Aga Khan played such a prominent role at this conference, and at the commencement of the conference, the British Parliament actually set up a committee to examine India's future, and I'm trying to write that down here. There was a committee set up, so Parliament established a committee, and that committee actually met over the course of the next 18 months. They had about 159 meetings over 18 months to talk about the future of India, to kind of discuss the future of India. And again, Sultan Muhammad Shah played a very key role here. He was among 21 leaders who were consulted by that committee during its deliberations. Now, the Roundtable conferences in general continued going on until about 1934, so a period of about 4 years. And they represented in many ways the zenith, the height of Sultan Muhammad Shah Aga Khan's involvement in Indian politics. But it's important to note that he was not just involved in Indian politics, but more broadly, he was involved in a lot of political discussions on the world stage. So, for example, since 1932, And so we're going to kind of write that down here. Since 1932, he actually was somebody who served on India's delegate to the Disarmament Conference. So he served as India's delegate to the Disarmament Conference. And then aside from that, he during successive sessions of the League of Nations, and these commenced around again 1932 as well. He submitted proposals. He submitted proposals for peace between China and Japan. Proposals for peace between China and Japan. So in general, he was obviously very heavily involved in a number of very important discussions in his time. All right. So I also want to point out that in 1934, the British government basically gave him the title of Privy Councillor. Privy Councillor. And that title, came with it, allowed him, I guess, the right to, or the privilege rather, of being able to apply the moniker, quote, Right Honorable before his